Hello everyone, this is my fifth and final PD on executive function. Today we're going to talk about making quick decisions. So in the EF 101 electronic book, specifically from section 4, so that's the last 3 pages of it, we know that social situations and determining outcomes can be very difficult for students with EF deficiency. And children who are weak in this skill often have a problem making friends because they don't understand that certain behaviors are actually frustrating for their peer group. And even on a larger sense, or even in a different sense, that even if you're talking about students that don't have ES dysfunction, you're still talking about being able to make decisions by determining a scenario of outcomes. So whether you're talking about a student with EF deficiency or just students in general, we're trying to help them make better decisions by determining consequences or outcomes of a situation or a scenario. So really, this skill can be used in different content areas, and if you're talking about just educating the child for life. So making quick decisions. Again, I went to a wonderful professional development about a year ago with the Rush Neurological Behavior Society, and they provided me with a wealth of information, and some of that I'm going to use today. But being able to use the Making Quick Decisions sheet is a pretty simple way to address the issues. That is also attached in the email that I sent to you, and I'll show it to you in just a moment. But to explore the process of decision making, and to think about consequences of actions. So you'll often hear students say, how can I know what was going to happen next? This helps to determine those possible outcomes by thinking through scenarios. Again, this could be really heavily impactful on a personal level as well, not just necessarily for a content area. And so it applies decision making to a particular scenario. You know, what should I do if? And the student can then determine a course of action from either class material or apply it to that personal experience of their own. And really that means weighing outcomes. At the end of the Making Quick Decisions sheet, the last box asks for, what would you do? So to play out the scenarios and the consequences, and that then allows for the student to decide, okay, this is what I would do. So if I do this, this will happen. If I don't do this, then this won't happen. And students should develop a healthier sense of consequences of decisions and behaviors by determining what will happen as a result. But let's be really clear. Consequences are outcomes, not punishments. Students often have a negative connotation when it comes to the word consequences. Consequences are outcomes. If I go to the weight room every other day, a consequence of that is that I'm going to get bigger and stronger. If I study my Spanish vocabulary every night, a consequence of that is that I'm going to learn more Spanish. But we often have mislabeled consequences as punishments or that they're negative reinforcements. I would really emphasize to your students that consequences are outcomes. So what I did, or what you could even do in a group setting with students, is allow for collaborative annotation. So in the case of the document that the Rush Neurobehavioral Center provided, they give a reading on Jessica's decision, and I won't read it to you, but basically Jessica has this desire to be popular. She's been asked out randomly in the hallway by a boy. She instantaneously says yes. Without thinking or remembering, she actually had a prior commitment after school, and then the idea is, what should she do? You know, should she then break the date with the boy? Should she just no show to her previous commitment? And walk through those outcomes, her options. What you could do is have this rotate in a collaborative annotation style. So a student could start with one choice, pass it to the next student who could make another choice, and then another student make another choice, and then as it continues, what would be an outcome of this, what would be an outcome of that, and you continue to rotate until it got back to the original student, who would then have to answer at the bottom, what would I do based off of what his other classmates have said. sorry. What I wanted to show you was this. This is that quick decisions sheet. They say about 30 to 45 minutes. As I was talking about this with several other teachers, you could do this in mentor group or homeroom if you wanted to walk through a social scenario with students, or you could use this in class and maybe draw it out a little longer for the collaborative annotation. But here's the demonstration of Jessica's decision that I talked about, and the options that she has. What happens if she makes this as a consequence from this option, down to this option, down to this option, and then that option, the activity I was mentioning, what would you do and why? And they actually, on the other side, give you one for Mark's decision. I think you could take this little caption and very easily retrofit it to any school scenario to help your students understand the process of making good decisions and what the outcomes will be. I've really enjoyed leading the professional development this semester. Thank you for all that have participated. And there is a link to a Google form in the email that I have sent with this screencast. So please take a moment and complete it. Thanks.